WhatsApp has been in the news for quite some time now. The social media platform has been on our mouths since February, when the social media platform announced a major news. Now, everybody has been worrying again because of the parent company, Facebook. On today on MTT, we are going to have a deep dive into the whole issue, see if there are alternative apps you should switch to, and whether you should also stay. And if you are staying, what are the precautions? What are the things you should watch out for? Without wasting much time, ignition start. Let's get rolling. So before we handle the main course, a little look up on history will be quite good. Now, WhatsApp was owned by Brian Acton and Jan Kwam in 2009, who sold the company to Facebook, which is owned by Mark Zuckerberg for $90 million in February 2014. Now, Brian Acton, after selling the company now, formed the company Signal, which is an app more concentrated on the principles of privacy. Now, we will do a little diving on it and what the app is for. Again, one thing that we all should know that is WhatsApp came at a time, technology was at a rising tide. Everybody would want to get addicted or get on the next thing that was buzzing. So WhatsApp was, I would say, one of the pioneers of early messaging or early smart messaging. So WhatsApp came at the time everybody wanted something interesting to use. So from then till now, WhatsApp is currently one of the most downloaded and most used app worldwide. So fast forward, Facebook tried to do a merger with the WhatsApp platform. Now, most users didn't take it lightly because Facebook has had some privacy issues personally with just the Facebook app, with people complaining about their privacy data being exposed. And again, Facebook in general even was involved in the US election one time ago. There's this whole Cambridge Analytica issue. I'll link that article for my viewers if you want to read or catch up with what has been happening. So this has been going on for quite some time, and Facebook took a step back, realizing, okay, generally people were for it. Then Facebook introduced the platform we all know as WhatsApp Business. Now, that was an independent source where Facebook was going to create a platform where they could use as a business identity for them. Well, someone may ask, what is data? What are we referring to as data? Now, in relation to this, data is then what? Information being shared to a system or a device. To make it more clearer, data in this term will be information being shared to the app. Now, what are the permissions, as I also added? Now, the permissions are the grants in which you give the app or the doors you unlock for the app to be able to function per the request of the app. Yes, to be very clear, per the request of the app. So to give an example of such data, we'll say, yes, your phone number, your profile picture. Now the permissions, let's say access to your phone storage, access to your phone camera. Yes, so these are some of the permissions and the data that I've been mentioning all throughout this conversation that we are having. Well, so to connect the dots, WhatsApp earlier this year in February sent a general notice to all its users that from a specific time they were going to update their terms and policies in relation to what? Their data and privacies. It got everybody stunned, everybody thinking that what is going to happen, that their information is going to be shared around, blah, blah. Basically, all what it meant was WhatsApp was going to share your information, your data on the Facebook app. That is what it meant. Well, it might be bothering, so let's take a pause. What this actually means, basically, is that if you are on WhatsApp and you've given the WhatsApp platform access to your data, access to your permissions, now WhatsApp is going to move that information, or it's going to be possible for WhatsApp to move that information and make it accessible to Facebook. Now, put an asterisk there. Now, the Facebook in instance is if you have a Facebook app and you are also a user of Facebook and WhatsApp. That is how your information is going to get there. So if I am, let's say, example as me, I have a Facebook app, and again, I also have a WhatsApp platform. Now, the information I share on my WhatsApp platform will then be eligible to be shared on my Facebook platform because I use both platforms. So WhatsApp is telling me if I accept those terms and policies, that is what is going to happen. Now, a quick look on the screen, we realize that there are some specific data and permissions about these various apps that are inclusive. Now, a general look at them, you realize that these are the permissions and the data that you give access to on the general platform. We realize that Signal has the minimum or least amount of permissions or data access followed by Telegram, then as it goes by WhatsApp, then realize that Facebook actually sucks a whole lot of data. If I'm permitted to use the word, it's a monster of data and permissions. Now a quick look at this. Someone might ask, why this? And also, what is generally going to happen to my personal data? Now, to answer the first question, what has kept Facebook at the peak of all its activities is their marketing and business aspects in which they give to customers in general, I would say. Now, these are the ads and the other services that they add up to their apps. Now, this has been the main engine and driving force of these platforms. Now, on the point of user personal data, I don't know if you know, WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted, meaning messages shared on the platform between two personals or different individuals are encrypted or are secured between both parties. That means they are only visible or accessible to both parties. But again, take this with a red flag, because there have been major news and concerns that have been happening recently. There are red flags that have been drawn here and there. And again, I want to draw a caution on also that it's bound to be inevitable, because in technology in general, where there is always a good, there's definitely going to be a bad. So no matter how secured you think your system is, somebody is somewhere in his room, in his underpants, trying to find a way to break into your app. So these things are, I would say, they are bound to happen. Okay, so you may ask, what should you do or what should I do? Well, if your information or your data, I would say, are nuclear levels of importance, or they in general, they're quite important to you, and you've been so stuck on the WhatsApp platform that moving on, finding an alternative source of messaging or alternative source of sharing information will be quite difficult because of who you are and how the parties involved in your messaging will be ready to migrate, then I think you should be cautious about the means in which you use the platform. Say you don't direct your messages all through the platform. You could use your emails. If there are some things that could be said by calls, they should be said by calls. If some things need human-to-human contact, even though we are in a COVID season, there are more protective ways in which you can do that. Try those alternatives. Again, in general, with the use of the internet, a very good advice is the use of VPNs. You could try VPNs, because VPNs move or mask your identity. Also, if you are keen to change, I would also want to try two other alternatives. You would actually want to try or test other waters. There are two apps I would suggest, which are Signal and Telegram. Now, straight to the point, these apps generally demand less data or less info as compared to the WhatsApp platform. Let's get that straight out. Signal generally is the most secured, as the only info it generally demands from a user will be its phone number. Basically that, and that is it. It doesn't demand any form of other information from the user. Now, the other member of the gang here is Telegram. Now, among all the three, as I've mentioned, Telegram is actually the most feature-rich, filled with a lot of features. Up to today, me personally, I keep discovering more and more things that the Telegram app could do. But again, in compared to security, Signal is first. Then I would say a second or a third to WhatsApp. I would explain. Now, in general use, the Telegram app is not end-to-end encrypted. Now, it boils down to you, the user, to make it end-to-end encrypted. So these features are something you have to enable. As I said, it's so feature-rich that anything you want the app to do, it would have to be by your own discretion. Or there are hidden gems here and there that you have to actually discover to enable some of these features. So generally, it's not end-to-end encrypted. But when you enable the end-to-end encryption, messages that you send on the platform are secured between both parties or whatever number of parties that are involved in such a conversation. Even on features, the Telegram app has even given a feature set where you could move your messages from the WhatsApp platform or other social app platforms to the Telegram platform seamlessly with no need of backing up or anything. Your messages, even to your data, to your media, all are moved seamlessly, which shows you how far Telegram goes with features. Another thing to note is how these platforms store our message. Now, your WhatsApp data or your WhatsApp messages are stored in two ways, if I'm permitted to say. Is that they are stored locally on your phone or on the cloud. So on the cloud, depending on the platform you are on. If you're on the Android side, it will be your Google Drive. If you're on the iOS side, it will be on your iCloud. Now, on the Signal side, messages are just stored locally on the device in which they are being used. Let's say I get another device or I get another phone and I open Signal with my phone number. Now, the messages on my older phone is not moved. I have to back that locally up and also migrate that. So I have to actually do that manually. On the Telegram side, all informations or messages are stored on the cloud automatically as it's being used. Now this gives it an advantage because it could be accessed on multiple devices. So as I use, let's say on my phone currently, as I'm typing or as I'm receiving media on this phone, I decided to log in on Telegram on an iPad, or I decided to log in on Telegram on the desktop alternative client app. The information that I have on this phone is automatically shared on these devices because they are shared on the cloud, provided I have the required or necessary details that link the app or they link the messages or the information to me. I can access them on each individual platform, which gives it, I'll say, a step ahead of the two other alternatives. To wrap up all these, we generally realize that all these apps have some kind of advantage one way and a disadvantage on the other side. Despite all the backlash and the massive loss of users on the WhatsApp platform, WhatsApp is generally going to force users to accept the new terms and services that they have brought out by May 15th, and all users who don't would have their account inactive in the next 120 days. Okay, quick one. Future Melon here with an update on the video. There have been some, I would say, little hiccup on my side, so I kind of lost the outro to that video. So I'm doing a quick update on the video, on how the video should end. I know it sounds funny, but yeah, basically that's what is happening now. So we mentioned some great apps, I believe, which are Signal and Telegram as alternatives to the WhatsApp platform. I would say in final, the advice I would give is, if you want to try any of them, give it a try. But again, never put all your eggs in one basket. I hope you understand that. Once again, Melon here on MTT. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.